Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Daniela, aka Dano. Um, wanted to make this video because, I was watching this video um, about Melanesians, people from Fiji, and how this doctor, he went over there. I think he's like a anthropologist. He went over there and he was talking to the people of Fiji and how they were saying that they come from Africa and all that stuff. Well, of course, in the comics section, there were people saying like, "Oh no, these people are not. They're not African. They're close related to Asians than they are blacks." You know what? I made this video specifically for you stupid people because it's obvious that you guys lack common sense. Now, according to science, these guys are they're close related to Asians than they are blacks, which is just a bunch of bullshit. Now, supposedly, these people are supposed to be the first people out of Africa who made it into Asia. Supposedly. I don't believe the bullshit at all. But if they're supposedly the first people out of Africa into Asia, wouldn't that make them closer related to Africans than they would Asians, like their phenotype would suggest? Phenotype is nothing more than their physical makeup. They physically have the makeup of African people. If they are the first people out of Africa, wouldn't they be closer to Africans like their phenotype suggests? Because the phenotype says, hey, we come from this region. We're not closely related to Asians because we don't look nothing like Asian people. And I know that on the island you can find some people who do look Asianish, but that's because they mix with the people. Just like in Indonesia, you will find what they call negritos. Same thing in the Philippines. I mean, those are people who are actually mixed between Asian and the black indigenous people of those islands and those countries. But yeah, I mean, just use common sense. If these people are the first people out of Africa, how are they? If these people are direct descendants of the first people out of Africa, how in the hell are they closely related to Asians? And it's funny because, they say the same thing about all the black people of the Pacific. Yet, sometimes they do classify them like, it depends on where you get it from, because, of course, there's some sources saying that they're closely related to Asians, yet these people are still classified as Negroid, and same thing with the Aboriginal people of the Australia and Tasmania. They're classified as Negroid, yet they're Asian, and it's just a big mess. And let me tell you what all this is. This is nothing more than conquer, divide, and distortion of history and culture all around the world. That's what this overlord, mainly ran by white wicked people. I'm not saying all white people are evil or wicked, but this is what they are doing. This is nothing more than conquer and divide, because there are way more of us than there is them. They don't want that to happen. So ask yourself, why is it that someone who supposedly descends from the first black people who came out of Africa, and who has the physical characteristics of black people, how are they not considered Negroid or black or African, when people who don't even look like the average white Caucasian is considered white and Caucasian? For example, the people over in India, the Dravidians, the indigenous black Indian people, they are considered Caucasian. They're part of the Caucasian race. Do you see this bullshit? They're part of the Caucasian race. Arabs, Indians, all those people are part of the Caucasian race, which is the white race. Yet, people who look like Africans, who have the hair, the bone structure, that's another thing too, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. The skin, they have all the makeup of African people, and yet, and science even said that they came from Africa, yet these people are not considered African, they're not considered Negroid, they're not considered, Negroid, African, whatever. So you have to ask yourself that. That's a bunch of hypocrisy and it's a bunch of bullshit. That just shows you right there. You really have to have no fucking common sense to really believe that these people are not African. I mean, literally, these kids, like, you could take these kids, I mean, other than their blonde hair, that's the only different thing, but that's nothing more than a recessive trait, because it goes away, most of the times it goes away when they get older. You could take any one of these people, you could take any one of these people, throw them into an African American community. You would have never thought that they were from Fiji. You would have never thought they were from Papua New Guinea. You would have never thought that they were from these Pacific Islands. You would have thought that this was just a regular black chick. You could take a regular black person and put them over here too. Like, seriously. I mean, come on. To me, it's just stupid. But, you know, I'm making this video for you people who obviously lack common sense. I mean, look at these people. Look at these people. Ugh. She looks like the average. She looks like, her phenotype is the type of phenotype that you would find in Africa. Yet these people, look at this. Come on, stop it. You have to be stupid. But see, this is the thing. They don't want to give this to black people. The reason why is because it shows that black people did conquer the world. We were adventurous people. We didn't just only say Africa, because for some reason, if you're a black person, you're not from Africa, you're not Asian for some reason. I find that very weird. But it's funny because when you actually look at the skulls of people from Polynesia, when you look at skulls of black Pacific Islanders, they have the exact same skulls as blacks. They have the exact same skulls as black people. You could do a Google search. I don't feel like doing a Google search right now, but they actually have a skull of I think they're called Vanatu or Vantu, a man and a woman. And you can compare that to an African skull, an African American woman's skull, and man's skull, and they look very similar. They don't look like Asian skulls at all. So it's like, okay, if their physical makeup is the makeup of an African or a black person, why are these people considered African? Now, I know that, okay, in these places there are mixtures. I do know that. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if these people are not 100%, but I'm sure it's just like African Americans. African Americans, most of us, on average, are like 80% African, 20% something else. Yet, we're still considered African. We're still considered black. So even if these people do have a little admixture, like maybe like this little kid right here, you can see that he may have some admixture. He's still black. You know what I'm saying? Just like most African Americans are still black. So, yeah, I just think it's so funny, man. They said that these people are close related to Asians, and they don't even have, like, I could understand if they all look like what they call negritos. If they were all like negritos or whatever, and you can do a Google search on that also, where you can see the Asian look in their face, then I can understand them going along with that bullshit. But most negritos are nothing more than just a mixture of the black islanders and Asians. And if you do history on that, the Asian features didn't come until much later. Like, the black people were the indigenous people, and when you study history, you'll find out that Asia, mainly East Asia, like China and not China and Japan, but China and Korea, they were basically like the ancient versions of Europe. Like, these people had so many conquests, they conquered, they had colonies, they had all this stuff back in ancient times. For example, if you look at Japan, for the longest of times, you know, when I was young, I thought that Japanese people were the indigenous people to Japan. That's not so. Go back a couple thousand years, majority of the people there were the Ainu people. Those are the indigenous people of that island. If you look at them, they were black too. And it's funny because they're actually related to the Micronesians and the Melanesians. And some people try to say that I'm not going to look at the picture of it, but some people try to say that they're white looking. It's bullshit. They have a white pasty skin, and the only reason why they like that is because they tanned in the sun and all this other bullshit. It's like, dog, if you look at the pictures, nobody gets that dark or tanning. Like, when have you ever saw a white person that got, so down, they tanned so much they look like this kid? Because most of the Ainu people, when you look at them, most of them were this color. Some of them were lighter, but that's because they were mixed with Asian. But when you look at, and if you guys don't know, if you look up Tengu, Tengu. I think it's pronounced Tengu. Tengu. It's supposed to be a ancient deity, demon, whatever, type of oni or some type of spiritual thing. I can't remember what it is exactly, but it's supposed to be one of its key characteristics of a Tenju, I think that's what's called, is that it's black and it has a big nose. It's black and it has a big nose, and it kind of has the features of a black person. A lot of people don't know is that the Tengu was part of the Ainu's culture, and it represented those people, because the Tengu, I think, also represented wisdom and all this other stuff, and a lot of that stuff came from the Ainu people who wrote over to Japanese. A lot of Japanese culture was taken from the Ainu. When you look at the kimonos and stuff like that, that was actually taken from the Ainu people. They were the ones who invented that ancient traditional robes of the kimonos and stuff like that. But that was just clothing of that area. But yeah, just look at this shit. I just think it's hilarious. These people, they actually said that these people are more related to, like, look at that. He's like a bro. Like, come on. I'm not trying to convince myself. I'm just trying to talk to you idiots out there who truly believe that these people are closer related to Asians than they are. I mean, come on, man. Me and this dude probably use the same hair products. Oh man, you can't tell I'm having a good time with this, because it's just hilarious. And see, I'm one of those people who don't give a fuck what science says when I know that's bullshit. Now, I'm not saying that science is complete BS, but there's a lot of bullshit in science, and the reason why they try to say these black people are not black is a whole conquer and divide thing, because we know that Caucasian, true Caucasian people, I'm not talking about Indians and Arabs, because those are not Caucasian people, they're not white people. We know that true white people are the smallest population of people on this planet. You know, they make the smallest percentage of all of the people. So this is why they're trying to add and they're trying to take away from the black race and add to the white race and add to these other races and stuff like that. But that's all it is. It's this distortion of truth. And I left a comment like that to a person. Let me go back because it went over to this video. But yeah. Maybe it was this one. Oops. I can't find the video. Oh wait. Okay, it's over here. These people saying that Fijian people clearly okay. Yeah, okay. Fijian are clearly black people. Okay, no, that's not. He agrees. We're basically on the same note. Anyone who calls them Asians are a complete idiot. I truly agree with that. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired. That's why I'm kind of like stuttering and stuff. Yeah, he's saying that he works with Fijians, and how Christianity is basically trying to strip their identity away from them. Same thing they did with the indigenous people of the Americas, and those people were black at one time, but they did the same thing to the people of the Americas. They tried to do the same thing to the Aboriginals of Australia, how they tried to actually breed them out. Kind of similar to what they tried to do with the people here, the indigenous people here in the Americas, but it's just way more of them here than there were Aboriginal people over there. I mean, because they slaughtered the hell out of those people. But yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, they actually try to breed them out here, and you know, with the whole, you know, missionary bullshit, you know, the Christianity thing, trying to take them away from their culture and their people, just like they did to the Latinos over here. Because most Latinos are mestizos, with majority of their genetic makeup being Native American, yet they don't see themselves as Native American. It's very, very weird. These dudes look straight up like Native. It's funny. I was watching this documentary. I'm trying to remember what it was about. But there's this dude who was in the middle of the damn Amazon rainforest, and he was with this, and no, it was a female. Oh yeah, I know what it was. It was the Pilot Guides episode of Peru or whatever. Anyways, they were hunting in the middle of a forest, trying to find like food for this indigenous group was trying to find food for this show's host. And the dude out there looked just like freaking Danny Trejo. Dude looked straight up like Danny Trejo. And I'm sure Danny Trejo would not say that he's Native American. He'd probably say he's Latino or Spanish or some other bullshit like that. That's bull. That's bull. So that same thing they did to them, they're trying to do to the Vantu people over there. I think they're called Vantu or Vanatu. Same thing they're trying to do to the other peoples of Papua New Guinea, the other peoples of the Pacific Islands. But you know, they can't be as savage as they were back then, like the Spanish were back then, like literally killing and beating these people into submission. They can't really do it today, or they'd be seen as monsters. So these people today are more resistant to and more reluctant to, you know, convert to Christianity and to buy all this bullshit that they're trying to sell them. But yeah. Oh man, I find this hilarious, man. Oh snaps, these people are aged. Hold up. Oh man, this is. You could come over and catch a barbecue, man, in the hood, and it'd be all good. Like they wouldn't even know, man. Wait, you're not from here? Where are you from? Oh, I never heard of it. Wait, you said it's in the middle of the Pacific Ocean? What? Really? Not? You kidding me, right? Nope. These people will blend in so easily, and we can easily blend into their, you know, their communities. But yet they're not, you know, they're not black. You have to be an idiot. But anyways, that's all I have to say. I've been talking too much about this. Peace.